George IV was 48 when he became regent in 1811, as a result of the illness of his father, George III. He succeeded to the throne in January 1820. He had secretly and illegally married a Roman Catholic, Mrs. Fitzherbert, in 1785. In 1795, he officially married Princess Caroline of Brunswick, but the marriage was a failure and he tried unsuccessfully to divorce her after his accession in 1820. Caroline later died in 1821. Their only child, Princess Charlotte, died giving birth to a stillborn child in 1817, aged 21. George IV acquired many important works of art, now in the royal collection, built the Royal Pavilion at Brighton, and transformed Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace. George's fondness for pageantry helped to develop the ceremonial side of monarchy. After his father's long illness, George resumed royal visits. He visited Ireland and Hanover in 1821, which had not been visited by the ruler since the 1750s, and Scotland in 1822, which had not been visited by the monarch since Charles II's Scottish coronation in 1651. In 1829, George IV was forced by his ministers, much against his will and his interpretation of his coronation oath, to agree to Catholic emancipation. By reducing religious discrimination, this emancipation enabled the monarchy to play a more national role.
During the 1820s up to 1830, music was a very popular form of art. In 1824, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony premiered on May 7th. This symphony quickly became really big worldwide and is still really well known to this day. Also, in 1824, Schubert's string quartet Jet and the Maiden was published as well. The first music halls also started trending and became big events in the United Kingdom. Big artists during this time in the music scene were Beethoven, Franz Berwald, Felix Mendelssohn, and Franz Schubert. As for literature, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe introduced the concept known as well-lit literature. This concept was basically referring to literature from all over the world, including African literature, Arabic literature, American literature, Latin American literature, Asian literature, European literature, and others. As for art, The Great Wave of Kanagawa was published. This work of art was and still is very popular all over the world. Other artworks released during this time include Woman on a Balcony by Carl Gustav Karus, The Polar Sea by Caspar David Friedrich, Garden in Shoreham by Samuel Parmar, and many others.
He introduced a bill to remove the rights of Queen consorts under the grounds of adultery and to dissolve royal marriages. Due to this, when his first, well, technically second, wife, Carolyn, returned to claim her rights post separation, she was unable to do so. This bill, however, was never approved. But his wife did die while it was being debated, so that solved everything. He neglected his responsibilities as king due to how self obsessed he was, claiming that he had no need to serve the country when the kings in Britain had lost as much power as they had. As a matter of fact, in this point in time, British kings had some of the lowest standpoints of the entire European monarchy. He was an excellent example of how not to act as a king. However, despite all his faults, he did leave Britain with great economical wealth and was able to procure his people and successors a lot of things. Even then, he is not respected in his own country up to date, and his name is talked about as a joke and as a form of public mockery.
During the reign of George IV, the first modern railway was built. The Stockton and Darlington Railway opened to the public in 1825. This company operated across northeast England from 1825 to 1863. It opened on 25th of September of 1825. It was also the invention of the photography that was another big discovery during the 1820s. It was invented by a French inventor by the name of Joseph Nicephore Niepce. The photography is titled View from the Window at Le Grand. Another big invention was from a pharmacist by the name of John Walker. He's known for inventing what we know today as the match. This invention came by accident when Walker scraped off a gob filled with chemicals with a mixing stick. The first set of matches was sold in 1827, and it came with a sandpaper piece to light up the match. Charles Wheatstone is a known physicist and considered the father of many devices. He's famously known for inventing the microphone in the year 1827, the same year as the first set of matches was sold. Another very important invention this year was the sewing machine. It was invented by a French inventor called Barthélemy Thimonier. When it was first invented, it was hooked to a tambour needle operated in a chain stitch form. This invention was later rejected, and unfortunately, his workshops were destroyed after he began to execute very large contracts to the military.
George IV's character was in part redeemed by his linguistic and other intellectual abilities, and especially by his astute judgment in the arts. However, his profligacy and marriage difficulties meant that he never regained much popularity, and he spent his final years in seclusion at Windsor, dying at the age of 67. His only daughter having died childless, the throne passed to his next brother, William, Duke of Clarence, who took the throne as William IV.